haven't done that before to that extent, and it was really fun. And like, let's see where they're gonna go. Where can we go?
If we're gonna do it, then let's just like, let's fucking do it.
Amy?
Hey, I'm Amy, and this is my house. I mean, it is funny because I always forget that it's like, so that's the door, right? Yeah. Kate comes in, the bathroom. I live in this place.
This used to be alive. Now I just walk on it and don't even think twice. But in death, it becomes useful, you know? I want to be useful in death.
Here, drink that.
I don't want that.
I basically didn't really move into my house until after the movie was done, which was a year and a half later.
Yeah, you were just waiting till we were done with the film so you could actually put up your wallpaper and like get everything organized.
Yeah.
Tell me I'll take care of it.
Nobody is turning you into a leather jacket. You're not making sense. You're not thinking straight because you are loaded.
Look at me. Look at me. I am going to die tomorrow.
You were talking about how the way the light is in the scene.
Yeah, like you know, looking at it again, for me, it was almost like we were trying not to light the characters.
It's okay. No, you are not. I mean, it's not okay. It just is. So.
We're not putting any light directly on the actors so that we can see them. It's just that there is this room the way it is, and then they happen to sit down wherever they sit down. And it has a quality to it that, I mean, there's some other subtle stuff going on, but has a quality to that I think speaks to why you wrote the scene. They're sort of talking past each other. And there's this other thing in the room other than them. And at the end, it kind of goes in that direction.
I think we, throughout this scene, we start to do a desaturation.
Right.
In here, like this very, very gradual desaturation. And then we really ramped it up. We really ramped it up when Jane leaves. And it's like sucking out the life of the image.
I won't be held hostage, so I am going to leave. And you're going to call me tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow for me.
And I have to let go and let God. You know this.
There's a guy.
Huh?
In Denmark. He's a leather worker. I want.
No, stop. Goodbye.
It also gets a little cooler when Jane exits as well, and then we sort of go in on Kate's eyes.
And I love that because it's like, it's such a fun transition to where we're about to go. That slow turn of the color is like in the distance, it's like it's becoming night, but then now we're about to go into, you know, getting closer and closer and closer to the feeling. This is what's interesting in the luxury of shooting in your own home is I think this sequence, I mean, there's a lot of sequences where I would edit and then I'd be like, we need more. We need to like build up the tension. We need to, and that's the luxury of shooting in your own house. So I feel like this whole section is like maybe shot over the course of like 3 different shooting moments or weekends or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. This shot in particular was one. There was another shot when Kate lies down. I think we went back to. But yeah, it just kind of blows me away how it was done in such select pieces. You know, oftentimes months between shots. But I think very interesting because, you know, even on Sunshine, you know, we took a break in between shooting, and that was a really great way to zero in on exactly what the tone and the shots that we needed to get again or add. You can really like sort of I like this word percolate, but percolate on these shots and ideas in the cut.
Yeah, and this is like for us is like the real where we really start dipping into or embrace like some of the horror tropes in this really playful way. And I think another reason that we were shooting it that way was because it was an experiment and we were trying to see what was working because again we're making a monster movie without seeing the monster. And so here this is the monster moment without doing the reverse shot of the monster.
And we ended up really pushing this in the color and you know, accentuating and doing some trickery there with, I guess you would call it color editing. I don't know how else to picking certain frames to accentuate, and you know, it's all there in the original, but we really had a lot of fun with that scene in particular. Was like, how big can we go with the idea of the monster invading?
On set you're like, oh, I wonder if I can push it further when you're on these deadlines you can't. And this was all about like pushing things, like again, like I said before, is it like a lot of times when you're doing TV or, you know, movies, you're asking why, and this was the opposite. This is asking why not.
I remember when you were like, I see these like colored lights, what, you know, like that was, and I was like, I had this big elaborate thing planned. I think I called Kiva. I was like, let's just, you know, what can we do outside? And sort of like, you know, a UFO landing on the house or something. And then you get back down to earth, and what can we do with like 2 people? And we did a lot of experiments in the garage with this particular unit we used for most of the movie. And, you know, Alex turning it on and off, pre-programming it, seeing what it could do. And that was really nice to have that opportunity, you know, in the garage. And then I think we applied that to every other scene with the color. And then on the day, because we had 20-30 minutes to sort of see what we liked with each character and what felt right. We got I had a little notebook going of what we were doing with each character. But yeah, it was an organic process, right?
I remember when we figured out what the lights could do, and we had two different setups of the flashy lights, like these two different lights that we had them on different patterns. And I remember I was like, let's just try it. Let's see what that looks like. And we couldn't even open our eyes. Like it was like giving us like a migraine by like sitting in the room, and then we would have to like stop filming because it was just like too much. And then
you could go in there for about 10 minutes before you had to leave the garage. That was
and then me being the sweet friend that I am, when we then were like, Kate, you have to keep your eyes open through this whole thing, and like, good luck. I mean, that was when I realized like, oh, this is wild. Like this can look really wild, when we were just like kind of fucking around in the garage.
What is she building in there?
I know, I constantly have something in here. I actually am building stuff right now. See, like
nice.
My little, I'm making stuff for my wall right now and sanding. It's still an experiment form. This is the craft. This is basically all the stuff we used.
Yeah.
The chicken wire, and there's tubes down here that we use to pump like red blood through that sometimes is in the background.
Yeah.
There's glitter. There's all sorts of gunk. Everything.
Good.
And still prop blood.
always good to have on hand.
But this is where Jane's lab was.
What I thought you said you were going to bring the salad.
No, I can't control when inspiration strikes.
So we basically used the steps in the house, in my ex-boyfriend's house. But and he doesn't even live there anymore. He's just totally random. but I knew the layout of the house, and somehow magically it worked out where we're shooting in my house, and then the place that we shoot the other house we shoot next is a place I know very well. And we use the steps, and then Ariel, our
Ariel
production designer,
built steps, yeah.
built steps, and so it's just like the last 5 steps.
These are fake steps in the same garage we shot all the experimental stuff. And then, you know, she walks from your house to another house to your garage.
Yeah, and that's what's fun is like that was playing around with like this sort of procedural stuff, you know. But but the lighting feels very like 80s, like garage basement.
And I love that what she's looking at on the computer there kind of looks like the moon.
That was actual microscope footage that we had on there. We had a bunch of different slides that we liked that we put on the screen.
Right.
And so that's all live. That's not like an effect or anything.
Oh.
Oh my God.
But this will be the second time that we see the lighting effect, and sort of and we decided to sort of embrace it in a different way because Jane, it's a new character.
Well, also I found that, you know, like Kate sort of embraces the colors, and Jane is sort of scared initially, right? Which is a little different.
Yeah, like Kate's going towards it, and Jane wants to ignore that it's happening and then wants to run away from it.
Right.
You usually try to avoid doing too many entrances and exits, but for this, to me, space becomes its own character.
Are you expecting someone?
No, I'm not expecting anyone. Did you get me a stripper this year?
Oh, I should have done that.
Baby, 1 year you have to get me a stripper.
What's going
He
on?
always threatens it.
Hey, I thought you weren't coming.
And to me, it was about the relationship of like a person entering their home and leaving their home, and like how the space can become foreign to them when it was very familiar. So like when Jane comes back to her house in the previous scene, it's like she doesn't know how to interact with it. And then the same when she enters their home, which would be a familiar place because it's her brother. It's like she enters and doesn't know how to be comfortable in her own skin.
Hi, Susan.
Hello, Jane.
It's her birthday, so
Happy birthday.
She came.
Yes, I can see. It's Jane. Jane is here, everyone. Jane! So happy you could make it. Thought inspiration struck.
Let's go in. Say hi to everybody. Okay.
Say hi.
We're just you're just in time for cake.
I love cake.
Awesome. We're gonna have some.
She loves cake.
Oh, I'm glad you came.
I would say too, like very little lighting, but specific direction of the light in specific places. And, you know, it's practical, but not all practical.
Take a seat. It's cool.
I have a pet peeve about the way that things look on TV and in films, where it's like, why is everything so well lit? Like, why? That's not how like life looks. And especially for those scenes in the house and any of their houses, Jane's house included, and then also the party, it's like, this is, you know, I wanted it to feel real. And the only way to do that was to not, nobody just goes, I mean, some actresses do, but I was gonna say, nobody goes into a room and finds their light, you know? But then I was like, wait, I know a lot of people that do, Jane being one of them. But
There was nothing there for her to find, really. So
yeah.
We're all gonna die. I just think we should be able to talk about it, right? I mean, I'm dying.
She's funny, right?
Wow.
Yeah. No, she's joking. She's
don't have
just
to
joking
humor
around.
her.
Yeah, you're joking.
Well, it's like I just have this feeling, the way that you know when you're about to get a cold the next day and it just hasn't hit yet. I know that's what is happening. I'm going to die tomorrow.
But how do you know?
I don't know. I just know.
So you know it or you don't know it?
Well, I know that I don't know, but I know I don't want to be alone, and I know that I'm going to die tomorrow.
All right, well,
I
if
know that I'm going to die tomorrow.
But you don't know.
I know that I'm going to die tomorrow. I know that I'm going to die tomorrow.
Okay, great. So you don't know.
with the lenses here, inside the lens, it's very warm, and then the camera is balanced cooler. And then when Nat got a hold of it, we're yet again affecting it opposite to the way it was shot. So there's this kind of resonating sense of, I think, of color that's a little off. And I think that was the idea with the scene. It's like so much is happening, and there's when Katie's talking to Jane, it just felt right to me.
Yeah, it's like the least inviting party that you would want to go
Yeah,
to.
exactly.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Susan. It's something's just terribly wrong, and I just have to say it. I'm going to die tomorrow. I'm dying.
Jane, we heard you.
I'm dying.
I heard you. Okay? You are doing what you always do, which is making everything about you. It's all about you, Jane, all the fucking time. And you sit alone in that room of yours taking pictures of God knows what because you can't hold a normal fucking job. The only reason I tolerate you is to make Jason happy. And I pray to God every fucking day that my sweet daughter does not have whatever gene this is that makes you this way.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
I just thought for a second when the lights went out that was it.
Happy birthday.
Do you know? Is that it? Did we?
Happy birthday to you.
I think that. Are we already dead?
And again, all this is done with a very tiny crew of just select people, and I'm constantly amazed.
We did a lot of experimenting alone, and then luckily then we had crews for these bigger days, but when we say crew, we mean like I don't know, how many people did you have helping you?
I had 2 more people, and two on camera and 2 on grip and electric.
Yeah. And it's the only day that we used 2 cameras.
Oh yeah, that's right. Just for that party scene specifically.
Yeah.
To get through it. I mean, we had to.
It was
everyone
11
had.
pages.
Yeah, everyone had to have their angle.
Just listen.
Fine.
We're all gonna die at some point.
Yeah, no shit.
We are going to die. I'm gonna die. I could die tomorrow.
all of this, and that like this whole sequence is like our set piece essentially, and it's
Right.
like, and even with the music and the sound design, it's like let's go so hard and manic, and we're getting all of this like the emotion of like sadness and elation and fear and like happiness and everything, and then back to reality.
Yeah. The Boston.
which is our trick. Yeah.
I'm going to die tomorrow.
Susan? Susan! Susan!
I need to go to the hospital.
What I like about our process is it is so playful, and it is so, you know, I could say happy accidents, but that's not giving us the credit. I feel like in order to have happy accidents and to utilize them, you have to like you have to be really skilled. And I hate talking highly of myself, but you have to be really skilled. And what's so amazing about working with Jay and Kate and Jane and all these people over and over and over, it's like over the past, 19 years now, 18 years, is that we all we made movies together with Jay's thesis film I was in, and we were at a certain level and we all had the spirit of exploration, but maybe the skill level wasn't quite there yet to embrace the the happy accidents. But now, because we know so much, and we, skill wise, we go, oh, that happy accident happened, and Jay knows so much technically about cameras that it's like, oh, we can do that in this. Now you can embrace the happy accident and you have the skill level to really go for it.